Coming to you from Final Third Cigar and Whiskey Lounge in Ingalls, Indiana, Indiana's exclusive Aladino Cigar Lounge. It's the Final Third Podcast.
Welcome back to Final Third Podcast. I'm Rob.
I'm Isaiah, and we got a returner with us. This is your second or third show?
Third,
yeah.
Yeah.
Mike Bothur. We had to have him show up today because Rob, sadly, is being deprived of cigars by his wife, his evil wife. She is...
Well, it was the doctor on this one, though, but that's fine. So, yeah. Yeah, I had to have a tooth removed emergency last night, so I am going to probably break the rules and have a little bit of whiskey, but I'm not going to do the
it's just
thing.
sanitizing.
I think so, too.
That's all.
We'll rinse out the socket with a little whiskey.
Jen's going to listen to this and be like, that's not the way that works, you guys.
I'm sure whiskey cleans everything.
I think so.
I think so.
Just got to make sure.
There are certain whiskeys out there I would dump down the toilet to clean the toilets too.
Yeah.
Chef the Creed. But,
yeah, well, I'm not sure that the ones I would typically pour out would do it well. Like Basil Hayden, I'm not sure it'd do much cleaning for me.
Yeah, and Amberana probably just put oil
Oh,
in
it'd
the
probably
toilet.
make the toilet sticky, man.
It'd stink.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Amberana and crap in the toilet.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, God.
Hey,
Horrible.
come check out my cinnamon-flavored toilet.
What's that scent in here?
Okay. Well, today we're smoking the Olmec Maduro. And, Rob, what's that
so
look like?
it's got a Mexican San Andreas wrapper over Nicaraguan binder and filler. Medium full strength. We had the Claro in here for about a month. And these came back in stock, so I got some of these, and these things are fantastic. I'm excited for you guys.
I believe it. I don't think I've had the Olmec Maduro.
You guys
I think
gonna
I've
love
just
them.
had the Claro. And today we're drinking the Balcones Texas Single Malt Whiskey. Rob and I, a couple shows ago, tried the peated version of this.
Yes.
And it's fantastic, so I'm intrigued to try the unpeated version.
Yeah, Alan Hill's one of the guys that really
and this
has
is,
turned us
106 proof.
106, yeah. So Alan Hill's the guy that really turned us on to a lot of the different versions of Balcones, some of the releases that they have. And Lisa, she's my wife Lisa, if you don't know her, she's fallen in love with Balcones. I mean, this is one of her favorite whiskeys on the bar right now. But she loves almost all the Balcones, except for maybe the peated version.
She lies about that one.
Yeah. I don't think so. She doesn't like smoky stuff.
she doesn't.
Not in the.
It's all right. There's more for us. So I just went ahead and did a V-cut on the Olmec. Super crisp, clean cut. This is a box press. Press Robusto?
Robusto, yeah.
Super fantastic. I love a cigar with a great presentation. No cellophane. Like it's just well done.
It is. Now,
I can't really
see.
see.
If it had cellophane on it.
I mean, from a shop's perspective, but in the box without cellophane, it's a perfectly crafted.
Not only that, but they do a great job in this box because this box has two shelves.
Oh, it's got a tray.
So you got two trays with 6 cigars each. They have the felt lined on the inside, plus they have the ribbon to pull out the 2 cigars. So they are protecting them as well as you could possibly protect them without cellophane.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful presentation, too.
Is.
So, and a cool little box. You could use it as a jewelry box later if you want to. Or
you
something.
Could. Just smelling the cigar. It does the barnyard
Does
thing.
the barnyard thing, yeah. Yeah.
Good cold
And
draw.
you said this is Mexican San Andreas?
Yeah. Over Nicaraguan binder and filler, so it's undisclosed underneath.
It's like chocolate-covered raisins for me. There's
little
a little bit of like almost... I say vegetal, not in a bad way, but it almost reminds me of like the non-spicy flavors of a jalapeno that are also in here.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah, that, and I definitely got that manure barnyard thing going right from the beginning. So, which I know a lot of people are put off by that, but that's actually a really, really good thing in the cigar.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, it sounds funny when we'll tell you about it on here, but then you realize what a good Maduro is going to be like. And
Yep. Well, a lot of that just means it's been aging well. The tobacco's aged well before it rolled, and just And if you look at this cigar, and this is made by Foundation, if we didn't say that before. It's definitely leaning towards the side of like the Tabernacle on the quality of the construction, the look of the cigar. You know, if you know Tabernacle, you also or Foundation, you also know that on their darker, richer cigars, a lot of times the caps do kind of that Padron thing where they're not quite the most pretty thing in the world. Don't let that fool you. They're tasty. They're super good. I know you guys are going to dig it.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites still is the Tabernacle.
Yeah, it's a fantastic cigar. Did you ever put the Lanceros out on the shelf? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're fantastic.
They're just too expensive right now without what we have to pay for them.
They are, but it's a great experience.
It's a great smoking cigar.
Experience.
Yep.
This cigar on the palate, it has a lot of the roasty nut notes in there. There's a really dry, dark chocolate in there, and on the retrohale, there's quite a bit of black pepper for me.
I was gonna say dark chocolate.
Yeah,
A lot of dark chocolate.
yeah, and not a super spicy cigar. It is really nice to see some Mexican San Andreas come in, because most of this stuff has been Sumatra recently. Yeah, but Rob's just over there carrying on a full conversation. Yeah.
Rob.
Oh, whatever. Whatever. So this cigar came out last year, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think
so-
both of the Olmecs came out last year.
I think that's right. It is interesting to see them being able to put out a consistent Mexican San Andreas instead of like a Sumatra. You know,
Well,
everybody's doing that.
My only thing is I don't like when I first ordered this cigar. I ordered the Claro first because that's all they had in stock. So I'm hoping this is not another one of those San Andreas. It's going to be sell them out and then 6 months later you get them again.
Yeah.
So I hope that's not the case, but guess we'll find out in the reorder.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We will. What's the whiskey doing for you, Rob?
Tell you what, I mean, I know this is a Texas whiskey, but it does some of the Tennessee things for me.
Yeah.
It's got a similar
It
kind
has-
of mouthfeel of the banana, but
Well,
not the taste
and
of the banana.
it has a lot of that like sharp char note in there that I would find in Tennessee. And
Yeah.
Tennessee specifically speaking to Jack.
Jack, yeah.
Not Dickel.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Smell a lot of fruit.
Yeah, it's like a red fruit, almost a buttered red fruit or something.
Oh my gosh. It's like it finishes with like apricot on the palate.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Kind of sweet a little bit.
Yeah.
Very
Oh,
fruity.
that's really cool.
And this is
And
just
it's-
a regular release.
Yeah,
This
it is somewhere in between a Scotch and a bourbon. It leans towards a lot of those fruitier floral notes, but it's heavy and thick like a bourbon.
I can't remember having stone fruit, but is this what you're getting? Kind of almost a stone fruit kind of
Yeah.
thing going? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've had any stone fruit, so
Yeah, I can't tell you last time I ever had stone fruit.
It's just right on the back of the palate. That's kind of what it finishes with. Yeah. Oh wow, that's cool. Going back to the cigar. Huh. So it almost brought out like a toasted bread note for me in the cigar. Going back to it.
I'd like to see that, but I can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, I could see that. I'm still getting a little bit of cinnamon, a lot of like dark chocolate.
Oh, it's there. That's for sure.
Man, you know what that almost reminds me of is like a slice of toasted bread with Nutella on it.
I can see
you
that.
go.
Yeah.
That's a good, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally.
We also this week got some bottles of the Larceny Barrel Proof, the B523.
How's that?
You know, I'm not a huge weeder guy, but actually I
know
thought
you're
it
not.
tasted pretty good.
Well, cool.
I almost thought about putting it on here, but wheat's wheat. So I
Wheat
thought,
is wheat.
I don't know if wheat would go as well with that cigar or not, but
I do find
But
that
it could be a nicer
typically
balance.
weeded bourbons are just about sweet and like gentle enough to
Yeah.
go with about any cigar.
Yeah.
That one is very, and it's actually
Yeah.
very sweet, and it's still sitting at 124
Yeah.
proof, I think it is.
Oh, yeah.
So
Wow.
good stuff.
It's high enough.
That is
It'll
good.
it'll pair well with the nice
Yeah.
dark cigar.
So, Rob, you've shown around some of those French lick picks.
Oh yeah, we got about
What
that
is-
much of each bottle left now.
What has been the
Oh.
consensus on them?
Everybody's absolutely in love with them.
Yeah.
If you don't know what we're talking about, which you probably should by now, they're
Yeah.
apple
The
brandies.
last episode.
Yeah, the apple brandies at Hazmat. One is finished in a bourbon barrel, not finished, but it was rested in a bourbon barrel. One was rested in a X rye finished in port barrel.
Yeah.
And so far the consensus has been pretty balanced. Both of them are fantastic, but
Yeah.
a lot of people tend to lean towards the rye port better.
Oh,
Just
wow.
because I think it's deeper and richer on the
It
nose.
is.
I think
Yeah.
that
And
was
it's probably
my
more
favorite.
unique too, where it's not the other one would, if you wouldn't know better, you just think it's bourbon.
Yeah.
With that one, you have to really think about it. With that pour, it almost brings that Cabernet kind of dry
it
red
does.
wine to it. But both of them still retain the apple,
Mm-hmm.
and so far, not anyone has said, I don't like either one of those. They love both of them.
Yeah.
It's
the
hard
other-
to pick between the two.
The other thing I heard was some people throwing them on ice and stuff like that. and
Yes.
Them
We
holding
did
up
that.
extremely well.
Oh, very well. We actually did that. Will, I think, was the one. Will and I did that, and it was amazing, especially on the port rye one.
Okay.
How much, because obviously, if you put a cube of ice on it and it's still holding up to 120 proof, that's a good day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And that's exactly what it did. It chilled it up. It brought out more flavor, but it held the heat because it started at 147. So,
Yeah. No,
We'll have to
that's
try that.
pretty cool.
I know Jen will appreciate that because she always wants a cube
Yeah.
sometimes. and
Yeah.
But
there's, you
that's
know,
the nice thing about getting high proofers.
Right.
You can still throw a cube in it, and there's enough proof and enough body there where it still retains the mouthfeel. and
Sure.
It's not going to feel like you watered it down to 90 proof. Like,
Right.
it's not going that far.
No. Have you guys tried it?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought you did.
Yeah, I like the rye one.
Yeah.
It was still hard to pick between the two, but I mean,
I'm with you too because I think I was leaning towards the other way. I was leaning towards
I
the
like
bourbon
the
barrel.
Lee W
Um,
one.
I think it's just because of the flavor. The other one's
Yeah.
probably way more complex, but I definitely was leaning towards that one.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be getting those here in the next, I don't know, 2-3 weeks maybe.
Yeah,
I hope.
totally.
I hate saying that because I was saying that about Elijah Craig and it's been backed up a little bit.
I was just gonna say, what's the update on?
the last time I
Update is no
talked to him
update.
a couple weeks ago was. Yeah, we got the labels going, or we're getting ready to get the labels going. It's bottled, so with just a few more weeks. I'm like, a few more weeks. Okay, so it might be the end of the
course.
month. It might be September. I don't know at this point.
The other bottle I saw you got for the bar was the Downmore Cigar Malt.
Oh my god!
So what's the story on that?
I didn't know much about it, but I
Yeah.
had a Dalmore. Well, Tara, she comes in here, and I don't know if it was her or her brother said something about the cigar malt of Air Heaven. No, I haven't tried it. And I found it on the site and got it, and it's doing a lot of the Joseph Magnus things in a Scotch.
Okay.
So I don't know what
So
the whole
it's
story is
finished?
behind it. Let me grab it real quick.
Yeah, grab it. But I had heard of it before, but I've never really sought this bottle out or even looked for it.
I think
But,
it might have been Tara that was talking about it because we went over to
I
her
believe
place
it.
not too long ago, and
Yeah.
So this one says absolutely nothing about it.
Wow. That's amazing.
you can recycle the bottle for 5
Distilled,
cents in Hawaii.
aged, and produced in Scotland.
Yeah.
It does not. It just says Cigar Malt Reserve.
Huh.
Highland Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. So they're
Interesting.
not being very clear about it, but
No.
it's super tasty. It's not cheap. It's an expensive pour, but it's definitely really, really good.
Yeah. I mean,
No, by expensive, I mean here it's still only like $36 for a 2-ounce pour.
Yeah.
But
that is
I don't know how
expensive
much
though
it
for
is.
an 88 proofer.
it is. It is. And it definitely holds up to it. So,
Oh, I believe it.
so good stuff there.
I
The
believe
Balcones is much more affordable.
It's what?
Much more affordable.
Yes,
It's like
it
15
is.
a pour, right?
Oh yeah, it's maybe if that. It may be lower than that. I'm not
So
sure.
good.
So I think the first order of business that I would like to talk about today is Starlight's cigar batch event that happened yesterday.
Their wild release.
Yeah. So historically, these events have sold out quick. Now, granted, they basically took like a 6-month hiatus from doing these legitimate events. They'd still do cigar batch releases, but they, like at their original cigar batch events, they would have a couple lounges show up. They'd have brands. Oliva was always there. There was always a Davidoff guy there handing out free cigars. You had the opportunity to buy a bunch of different finishes. You were allocated at least one bottle of the cigar batches. So those events, I remember like the first 3 sold out, and by sold out, they're not selling tickets. They're just
Right.
trying to make sure that they can control who's on the
Sure.
property and control the craziness. Those events would be closed within 40 minutes.
Yeah.
This last cigar batch event,
Still open, isn't it?
no,
It
it
took like
just
6
happened.
weeks.
It just
Yeah, it was
happened.
yesterday.
Oh,
But
okay.
it was open for over a week. Yesterday was the event. People stood in line for it. And by people stood in line, I mean like 10 people stood in line to get a bottle that they were already allocated. And then to also have the opportunity to get the Amberana rum finish. You know, that's another thing that
Yeah.
if you've been listening to the show, at least for the past couple months, you have heard about Cachaça. Cachaça is a rum. It is in the rum family.
And
that's where the Amberana barrels come from. So
It's a rename.
it kind of is.
It's just a rename.
It's
Like,
just a rename.
yeah.
backwards marketing is.
It's really odd. I think they're just trying to breathe some new life into it. So the Amberana rum finish sold out. They had a cigar bourbon and a cigar rye that are still available today in
Oh,
the gift
geez.
shop.
That's rough.
But you got to think about this. These bottles went from like $75, $80 originally to now I think they're around $100 a piece in the gift shop. And the hard part about it is you can go to Benny's and find them on the shelf all day long for $80.
Yep.
Yeah. That's crazy.
What do you do with that, man?
Yeah.
It's just like they don't have a pulse on what the whiskey world actually wants right now. Hello,
Well-
Starlight. Turn your ears on.
I will.
It was a fad.
I will say one thing. Starlight was probably one of the first, not the first, but one of the first that was really pushing the Amberana releases that I saw.
I think that they were the first.
Okay.
It would not surprise
Now-
me
If
if
they
Starlight
were.
was the first.
My thought is they rode that pony, move on to something else now and make that special because everybody and their freaking stepsisters out there putting out another Amberana or they're putting out their first Amberana because
Yeah.
it worked. It's like, move on, do something new, do something
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
It's
Or
crazy
just
to
stop
me.
doing it, period, would be great.
Oh, well, they have literally beaten this dead horse until it's turned into pulp on the
Yeah.
ground. The vultures are surrounding it, just waiting for them
You know,
to leave.
and that's a good question too, because I know you've talked about this, down in Brazil. I mean, this is a rare tree. This is something that it's got protection on.
it does.
And with the whiskey world going so nuts over getting these barrels, is this going to cause some kind of a world uproar at some point saying we're going to go after people using this wood now?
they will.
It's like-
Seriously.
because everybody's putting something out with Amberana.
But seriously, they are tearing down the Amazon rainforest to build these barrels.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your
Yeah, it's time for
cigar
something
batch
different.
whiskey is killing the homes of many animals and actually the industry of many villages.
Yeah.
You know how many remote villages there are? It's just not. It's not worth it.
No.
It's just not. We can't even keep up with oak production in the U.S. right now for whiskey barrels. And you think the Amazon rainforest
gonna
in
magically
Brazil
regrow?
is good? Like,
Yeah.
hello?
Oh, and by the way, it also makes trash whiskey, so stop doing it.
Yeah.
My God.
I mean,
I agree.
it would be something if, like, Starlight were to on that release copy the Penelope Rio. Penelope was smart when they did it, that they didn't just release an Amburana finish. They released an Amburana and a honey finish put together. And you know what?
I'd be willing to try it,
Yeah.
maybe to cut down some of those Amburana notes that I hate.
But I think that's why Starlight called it Amburana rum finish on that new label that they put out. I think
less
it was
controversy.
I think it was their way of trying to trick the whiskey world into thinking that they double finished it. No, it's the same barrel. But everyone will crack those bottles open and be like, man, I can really taste the rum in here.
Really.
I'll bet this was an ex-Weller barrel.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm getting a lot of notes in this. A lot of Weller notes.
A lot of,
Yes.
this
Is that sugar cane I'm getting?
this Starlight whiskey, really on the nose, it smells like Weller Full Proof.
Yeah.
I'm poking fun right now, and I'm not going to call it out,
is true.
but they deserve it.
You know, you know.
You know. That's right.
Yeah, but
Well, I'm not. Oh, go ahead.
Starlight needs to do more than just their finishes. I
Oh,
think that
no.
they have the ability to do what Barrel is doing, where they're blending finishes and they're creating shelf staples that way.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a good thing to do for them. But I'm not sure if they see that in their business model.
I can't imagine that. Well, I don't know. They keep trying to do all this stuff, and we talked about this before with all the finishes that they're doing, just flooding the market. And
Yeah.
now they're flooding an already flooded market with something they've already flooded before.
Yeah.
So I mean, the same thing. Like it's reverse marketing to get buzz around a product that they've already sold in a different bottle. Like it's
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's just
it's
I don't-
disappointing.
I can't figure out who has a marketing degree at Starlight.
Don't think
Or
They
who,
do.
or like who is on a whiskey page. You know, like join a Facebook whiskey group and you will be able to at least have a little bit of a pulse of what's going on.
market
Yeah.
research is needed.
Well, I mean, it just seems like some
Well, that's
brain dead.
The only one that's probably
Stuff going on
involved with
there.
a lot of those groups is Jerdy.
But he's not.
Well, he used to be a lot more than he is now.
Yeah.
But he's also not in charge of that. He's in charge of the barrel program now. So he's not really in charge of the marketing stuff.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
it's like-
Journey gets paid by selling barrels.
Yeah.
That's his job,
That's
is
his
to sell
job.
barrels.
Yeah.
It's not to further Starlight in any way. It's to push barrels through their single barrel program.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see if there is anybody with a marketing degree in that family,
I just
because it doesn't seem like it.
no. Well, and we talked about it on the last episode. Just them pushing out the same age statement product.
Yeah.
And
Over
so
and
much
over
of
and
it
over.
that I mean they should have 6-7 year product right now.
I just
They
don't think the
should.
prices can keep increasing like they
No.
are.
Not
Like,
on a
they-
4.5,
they-
5 year product.
They either need to level out with the price on the regular release things so they can jack up the price
Yeah.
on the special rum barrel finishes, or, just level out everything. I mean, the last time I went there too, we picked up one of the VDNs and it was over 85,
Yeah.
I think. And like the
It's
first
insane.
time I ever bought that, it was
65.
65. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that was, how long has that been out? God, I don't even remember when
A
I got
year
the
and a
first
half,
one. Yeah.
2
So it
years
was
ago?
almost 2 years
Yeah.
ago. In 2 years, it went up $20. Same
Well,
thing, same age statement.
And we
Everything
talked
is-
about that, a couple years ago when I first went down there. Everything was $64.99 on the releases.
was.
And then we saw the next one coming out, it said $74.99. When we looked at each other and goes, "Here we go."
Yeah, the maple barrel
Here we
was.
go, they're gonna just start going crazy.
The maple
Well-
finish was 95.
The
And
honey
that-
one,
it-
then the
when-
honey jumped up to $79.
When the finishes were 65 or 64.99, whatever they were, $65, that was a hard number for me to reach on a 4.5 year product.
Right.
4.5 year product.
But when you got it, you still enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the straights were at that $50 mark.
Right. Yeah, just the regular single barrels.
Yeah. And that felt great. Like their straight rise at $50 are killer.
Yeah.
Like I bought so many of those. I drank them all the time. But now they just keep creeping up, and
Well, and that's a good thing to maybe talk about here. This might be a good topic. With all the new cigar or whiskey nerds coming in and getting involved and hunting and all that shit, coming into this world now, we've talked about how there should be categories for finishing and different things like that.
yeah.
I wonder if we're not getting to a point where these distilleries are really screwing up the industry by putting out almost everything finished, to where these new people come in and they can't even appreciate a straight bourbon anymore or a straight rye. All they want is something with flavor. It's like you almost want, Fireball.
flavored whiskey.
Yeah, exactly. Fireball and Screwball. It's like, what do you want? And it's
This tastes like corn.
I feel like that when you see a lot of people that come
It's
into
corn.
those
It's
pages
corn.
that talk about them, they're only talking about the Rio and stuff like that. It's like, do they not even understand what good whiskey is in general? And we might be getting to that world now.
I think
already.
that's an interesting thing to think about for sure. The other thing is there are no heritage brands with heritage mindset anymore. All of the big heritage brands, all your big six in Kentucky, are ran by marketing firms.
true. That's true.
So they're saying, here's what people are enjoying. And hey, maybe you do have product that's sitting back and aging longer because you're putting out this finished thing. But a lot of times they're just blurring the lines so much and blurring what can actually be a bourbon. One, a lot of the labels that have come out recently are illegal.
Yes.
Like, I just don't know how to tell you otherwise.
there are a lot of
There are a
illegals.
lot of illegal labels,
Yeah.
and honestly, the TTB's letting them through, so that's on them.
That makes me think they're just overwhelmed with labels coming in.
They are.
Yeah.
They are, man.
They've got great lawyers.
But on top of that, all of these heritage distilleries are saying, we don't need to put out our high age product. We can just
They're
put
gonna sit on it.
out a 7-year product that's finished.
Yeah.
But could you imagine what would happen with the whiskey world if they came out with a George T. Honey this year? Could you
They
imagine?
would go freaking nuts.
People would go crazy.
It's $5,000 on secondary
Yeah.
day one. Yeah.
But
Stag Burana.
Oh my God.
As much as you want
You
to
ruined it.
as much as you want to say, like, oh yeah, people are finishing well. Yeah, they can finish all they want to, but they can put whatever whiskey they want to in there.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you finish something, it covers up a lot of sins.
It does.
So most of the time, and if the distillery's smart, they are pumping these barrels full of stuff that they wouldn't use otherwise, that wouldn't be able to be sold as
Right.
single barrels, that wouldn't
Yeah.
be in special releases. And they're saying, this is a way that we're going to be able to charge a high price for it.
Yeah.
But I don't think people are going to have a palate. The new people in whiskey, my hopeless, like, romantic thought would be that eventually they'll get tired of it and they'll taste something like a Heaven Hill 17 or like a Stag Junior and say, oh,
I get it.
this is what high age
Maybe
whiskey.
we need to wait.
Yeah, maybe we should. But I don't think that that's going to be something that happens. I think so many people are getting into the whiskey category coming from cocktails and stuff like that. And the finished whiskey category, you can still get high proof stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? If you want a super sweet whiskey, you go for it. But you're not going to find that refined oak, that old oak character in it.
And that's so talking about marketing too. I do some work for Brown Foreman, some broadcast stuff, and we do their, annual meetings, whatever they are. And the most recent one was talking about their brand marketing with their cocktails, with the Jack and Coke stuff. And
Yeah.
they're really leaning hard into that. And they're not leaning as hard into doing other things like the single barrel cask stuff.
Huh.
So like it just seems, I guess, I don't know, maybe it's the generational stuff with
It
the
could
younger
be.
generation coming up. Like they want to go more towards like the mixed cocktails, like
Well,
with
it
the
seemed
finishing.
like 2 years ago when the canned cocktails really started hitting. Well, it was a little bit before that, but 2 years ago you started seeing them a lot. even these small distilleries were putting out canned cocktails, and they were just not very good.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even care if they're good. If you make that cocktail with the actual fresh ingredients on the bar, even just watching the
can't beat it,
process,
yeah.
they taste better, and they do taste better. I just don't understand.
Buffalo Trace has what, 3 of them now? They've got the Old Fashioned. They've got a julep one. Old Forester, same thing.
Yeah.
They're all too syrupy. I mean,
They are.
It's
They're going
just
for the
leave it.
sweet masses.
I mean,
Yeah,
and the
that's-
thing is in those, you have to put preservatives in there.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise,
They won't last.
you're-
They're not
Yeah.
shelf stable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
it's-
yeah.
but defying all of the odds as far as the Big Six goes is always Maker's Mark.
Always.
Maker's Mark will do their wood finishing series, which they've actually discontinued for this year.
yeah,
But I got an email from them earlier this week, and the title on it is "Something Old is Something New." So they haven't released what bottle it's going to be this year. But what wouldn't surprise me is if we get a 12-year or 15-year-old Maker's Mark with an age
Yeah.
statement on it.
yeah.
Which, I mean, historically, it's been a 6 to 7 year product.
That your something old, something new reminded me of. It was a beer. I'm not gonna drop the name, but we're gonna talk some crap. They
Do it.
their
Who is it, Mike? Mike,
their
who is
marketing brand was either New Belgium. They had, I don't even remember what beer it was now. They have a commercial that they just released, and their slogan was, "We listen to you." Finally,
Wow.
after 10 years, and that was like the ending of their commercial. I guess
gosh.
like people were asking for a certain finish on their beer, and that was their tagline was, "We listen to you finally."
Wow.
So maybe that's the Starlight's marketing plan, is that 5 years from now they're going to come out with a tagline that says, "We did it."
Yeah, we finally listened to
Finally.
the final third podcast.
But the thing
It's the
is,
finally third.
yeah, the thing is with that even is if the whiskey bubble pops like Alan Bishop is predicting it to,
yeah.
Starlight's going to be a farm tourist experience. They're going to
Yeah.
end up
Again.
sitting on a ton of barrels.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And they just put it-
tier he was talking
They're
about.
in the mid tier, and
Yep.
they just put in a new column still.
Yep.
It's like all of these things are going to work against them if they don't adapt now.
Yeah.
And I love Starlight. I do. And that's the only reason that I'll punk on them as much as
Yeah.
because there are other brands that I can punk on, but I don't care about them. Old 55. But they're just, I mean, that brand's outpriced themselves. I don't care who you are, they outpriced themselves.
Yeah.
They better be bangers every time for $300 a bottle.
Right.
Yeah.
It literally better be Heaven Hill 17, Heaven Hill 20 year, not some 4-year-old sweet corn bourbon in a crystal decanter.
I'd put it up against Heaven Hill 20 every
Oh,
time.
yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Chris.
Heaven Hill 20, baby.
Every
Good stuff.
time.
Every time.
Jeez.
Oh.
I'll put it up against mellow corn, baby.
I've never had just straight mellow corn.
Really?
No.
We'll have to fix that.
It looks like freaking vegetable oil in the bottle.
It's another one that can.
That Heaven Hill 20 isn't much darker.
No, but it looks like whiskey at
Yeah, it
least.
does. Yeah.
So as we get further down, the second third here,
Yeah.
what are you getting?
The dark chocolate, it's a really dry dark chocolate for me. It's almost like
High bitter.
yeah, but it doesn't do the bitter fruity thing. Like once you get to a certain point with dark chocolate, it's just like unsweet dark chocolate.
Like 96%.
Yeah.
Because like 76, you're still in like the creamy dark. This is more 100%.
Well, and then there's
96.
also I'd say almost like a really roasted hazelnut on the palate. And on the retro hail, I'm still thinking black pepper.
Black pepper.
It's not beat you up red pepper or anything like that. It's just enough spice to keep you interested, but it keeps developing, and the flavors keep getting more and more roasty. And I'd say darker. Like
I'd
the
say
flavors
darker.
just keep getting darker as it goes, and it's really nice.
As I get more, more air in the glass and it's sat a little longer, I'm getting a lot of floral on the nose. Still fruit. You said apricot earlier. I'm starting to get that now. Still really heavy on the floral notes, though.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I get a little bit of sweetness at the end, though, on the finish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does not finish spicy or anything like that. It is a straight
it's amazing.
sweet finish. Okay. Now, what the finish reminds me of is the peach rings.
Oh, the sugar peach rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Like
I was thinking freeze-dried, like apricot.
yeah.
Like,
I
I get that,
mean,
like,
I used
dry
to do that
taste.
too. But it's kind of that flavor. It's
Like
like
band.
Yeah, it is a good band.
It's a good band.
Our wonderful new table is brought to you by Deadwood Live. That's D-E-D Wood Live. Go check them out on Facebook and see what Derek can do for you. From bars to tabletops to a giant podcast table, they specialize in making super high quality furniture from live edge woods and reused barrels. So reach out to them on Facebook and see what they can do for you.
We saw this week, and Mickey Pegg posted it, that All Saints Cigars is teaming up with McAuliffe
Yes.
to
Share the sales force.
share the sales force. So
Which
what do
is
you
a-
think about that?
Honestly, it's a
McAuliffe
smart move.
is a heritage brand, are they not?
no.
Okay.
No, I mean they're
They're in a lot of
McAuliffe's-
heritage shops, though.
They are. I think it's mostly just because of the look, but I mean they've not been in the industry that long. I mean, they're and also
Rob,
they
give
don't
us
put out
your
the quality.
top 5 favorite McAuliffe cigars.
I can name 3.
Modafina.
No, I hate the Modafina. God, I hate the Modafina. No, I do like the new McAuliffe Black.
Okay.
He brought me the new rep, which actually is a super nice guy.
Which I guess
is
he'll
why
be
I'm
doing
probably gonna bring
All
some
Saints
in.
now.
I
Yeah.
hope so. I hope it's that direction.
That would be cool to see.
I did say out loud, didn't I? No, but the black, the Magdalia is a good cigar,
one's good.
and especially being a lower price, which all
Yeah.
these are actually sub $10 too.
That's awesome.
And the McAuliffe A, all 3 of those I think punch above their price point.
Yeah.
and they're all good cigars. There are some of the higher end ones that they do that I don't get, but it's just not my profile. But I do like this idea, and you're going to see this a lot more, I think, coming up, where you got a couple of smaller brands come together and work together so that they can utilize the same sales force.
Yeah.
And it becomes basically your sales force becomes almost a broker selling
Yeah.
multiple brands.
Well-
and that's good for them. That's good for the brands.
And it helps the industry. The problem is when you have a Crown Heads Luciano situation where some dirty stuff happens. There's a big breakup.
Yeah.
And then suddenly Oz Family Cigars is Crown Head's new partner.
Which Crown Heads is way better for what happened.
Oh yeah, they
As much
are.
as that
I am
sucked
so
and they
glad
were
that they're
treated like shit.
they're done with Luciano stuff.
Me too.
Because the Dreamer was good, the Fiat Lux was good.
I still
but
have never had one of the Dreamers that smoked well. I've smoked 8 or 10 of them.
Yeah.
Not one of them smoked well though.
I don't know if I've ever had one. I've had one of the Luxes.
don't worry about it.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Not missing anything.
Fiat Lux was okay. It was decent at times, but I'm
Yeah.
also skewed because I love the Crown Heads boys, and I don't.
Yeah.
People screw with our boys.
Yeah.
I don't want to even deal with them. So
Oh, totally.
Well, you know what McAuliffe does that's like a good marketing thing, right?
What's that?
They do the little like challenge coins.
Coins, yeah.
Yeah, so they do like membership coins. It's free to sign up. I mean,
Yeah.
you just get put on their mailing lists, but it's a cool thing to do for events.
Yep.
It's like I think it gets people out. Like you get to take home a token.
Yeah, you
Like,
become a
it's a legit
McAuliffe
coin.
ambassador.
Yeah, you're an ambassador coin.
Maker's Mark has an ambassador
Yeah.
program, and they'll send you little gifts and stuff, and you can.
It's a
like
cool-
one Christmas,
cool
they
thing.
sent me a freaking puzzle. It's actually a kind of hard puzzle. Of course, I was also drinking while I was doing the puzzle.
That's part of it. They know that's what's going to happen.
It was a really blurry bottle.
Yeah.
8 pieces. Can't figure this out.
But no, I mean they'll even put your name on a barrel, and like you can check on
Yeah.
when the barrel that's yours is,
Yeah.
which is cool. Like, and
That's very
probably 2 years from now, my barrel will be coming up, and Heck,
Yep.
I might go down to Maker's Mark to see it be dumped.
Yeah.
It's just a cool thing.
It is very cool. They allow you to do that too, especially at the large scale that they're doing.
Yeah, but really, those things are just buy-in for people.
Yeah.
Right.
Everybody wants to feel like they have that they're appreciated in some way.
Yeah.
And cigar brands are getting better about that.
They are.
I think Espinosa does it really well with the big Espinosa fans and the festival that they do.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like there are perks to buying a lot of Espinosa.
There are. Yep.
Past just making your home shop happy and smoking a good cigar.
Well, and during COVID, I think McAuliffe was probably the best at this of anybody. They were engaging their customers during COVID via Zoom calls and via virtual HERFs and constantly doing that. When you're talking about the VP and the sales managers, and all that, every time getting on with people, just engaging people, and it brings brand loyalty in a time where you can't travel and create that. And they were the only ones I saw doing that.
Drew Estate did it.
Drew Estate did it,
Yeah.
but they did it on a different kind of scale.
Yeah.
I
was on a couple of
Jonathan
the calls.
Drew that was out there hanging
No.
out with you.
No,
it was somebody else that decided to do it that's working for them. That they're like, hey, go do something because you're not working right now.
Which so on one of the Drew Estate calls I was on, there was a sales manager, but then there was also somebody from the factory that was on the call, and I pissed them off because I asked, just being the inquisitive person that I am, have you ever experimented with introducing different yeast strains to your tobacco during its fermentation? And you would have thought I just shot his cat or something. Like, it's a
good
valid
question.
question.
Yeah.
I feel
Good
like
question.
it's valid. Like,
What did he say?
he was like, oh, we do things according to tradition. We'd never do that. Like, all this stuff. And it's like, I'm sorry, but like, what if you could get better fermentation or even just a different flavor profile based off of the yeast that's naturally there, I mean, your cigars are fermenting with all of the yeast and all the bacteria that's in the air.
Mm-hmm.
So what if you could control that?
Yeah.
And what if you could introduce specific things to the cigar and experiment with how it breaks down and the flavors that come out of it? People do it all the time in distillation.
Yeah.
Different yeast strains will pull different things out of brandies, out of bourbons. So
True.
why not in tobacco? Probably because it would take way more money to build a room to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
sure it's
if
just
you're
like
a new
all
brand
natural.
and you want to be kind of a science-forward cigar, or you want to provide tobacco for people, say, oh, yeah, we fermented this tobacco and it has these wild characteristics for you to bring to your farm and blend,
We'll put Dr. Scott on that one. He seems like
Yeah.
he needs something to do other than
He
scrolling
does.
through Facebook posts about relative humidity
Yeah.
Yes.
and cellophane.
And so
What was the one that he found this week about
The cellophane?
The propane.
Oh, with that it had one less molecule than
Oh my gosh.
then
the butane.
no,
So-
What was that? It was
propane and butane
yeah,
is just one less
molecule.
Okay, so the guy on Facebook in a cigar page, he is telling somebody that they can fill their jet lighter with propane. And his comment says, smaller vessel, same thing. Propane and butane have all the same molecules. Propane just has 2 more of them. That's why they're so comparable. If you push on the inlet, you're letting the gas vapors out and replacing that space with air, which will have micropollutants, therefore clogging up the burners. So he's saying, use propane, don't use butane. Okay, first of all, have you ever smelled your gas grill going?
Yeah.
Did you like to breathe that in?
Yeah.
But second of all, this dude is on Facebook arguing molecules with a
scientist.
chemical engineer, a PhD chemical engineer.
Oh yeah.
And his buddy that has a lot of experience in the field told him it was okay.
He's done it
yeah.
before.
I'm sure he has.
That was the next comment.
I'm sure he retrofitted his propane tank outside with a little nozzle to go up to his lighter.
He's got one of those like
Turn the
paving
propane
torches.
tank upside down.
shake it.
Oh my gosh.
Some people can't get out of their own way.
I just can't imagine all of the relative humidity talk on Facebook is crazy. If we ever get to the point, I think it would be funny to do a Dr. Johnston segment where he's like, this week's stupid Facebook comment.
That would be good.
Yeah,
wouldn't
it would be really good.
Brought to you by my doctorate.
Yeah. I mean,
Brought to you by
legitimately, I think he's just so nerdy he can't hang on Cigar Facebook because a lot of it's like just bros and dudes
Yeah.
that just heard.
Make shit up most of the time.
Yeah, I mean all the relative humidity talk that nobody understands.
Like the guy
And
yesterday
honestly,
that
no one
was.
you really care that much about.
Yeah.
But did you
Yeah,
see yesterday's
serious.
conversation
No, what was that about?
about the cellophane versus no cellophane?
Uh-uh.
The guy was arguing with Dr. Scott about unwrapping your cigars when you put them in your humidor, and he tested it with saran wrap.
Again, two totally different things.
And he saran wrapped a cigar, and it was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work. So you got to take your cellophane off.
Yeah. Yeah, because saran wrap.
Yeah.
I think you should have
Big-
tried the cling film, you know, the
Yeah.
the opaque one.
And then
might as
throw
well
it in your
just-
freezer for 6
Yeah.
You know what?
months.
And do the sustainable option too. Go ahead and get the beeswax wraps.
Whoa.
while
Just
you're
shrink
at it.
wrap it
Yeah.
with a dry
Shrink-
pack from like a beef
Yeah,
jerky,
I mean-
and then you're good.
Yeah,
There's
throw
a
some
reason
silica gel in there.
There's
You'd
a
be
reason why
fine.
it's called cellophane. It's
Yeah.
made with cellulose fiber. It breathes.
No,
Saran wrap
no,
does
it's
not.
the same thing as saran wrap,
same
Robert.
thing.
It has 2 more molecules. That's
Two
it.
more molecules.
That's it. There's only 2 more.
Gosh.
It's pretty much the same
Okay,
thing.
so you're talking about the difference between just straight plastic that probably has a portion of silicone in there to make it flexible to a vegetable byproduct,
Yeah.
a cellophane.
I kind of wanted to. I would love to get on that conversation with that guy and say, you know what? I would love you to do an experiment with an entire box of Padron 1926s, wrap each one in saran wrap for 6 months in your humidor, keep the humidity around 75%, and let me know how it goes. I want to see him waste $500 in a heartbeat.
You might as well just set a bowl of Gatorade at the bottom of your humidor.
Oh my
and then
gosh!
just-
I mean, honestly, it would make sure
flavored.
There you go.
Padron
yeah,
26s.
Gatorade Zero
it,
Padron.
it would be great. I mean, you'd be able to get electrolytes from smoking your cigars.
Exactly.
It's what plants crave.
It
Yeah.
makes, it's even more healthy.
That's great.
It's more healthy.
It's a leaf.
for you. Yeah.
You know what? And if you're feeling real fancy, just go to a Jamba Juice. Get a freaking smoothie and stick it in your humidor.
Shout out President Camacho.
Camacho Harris.
Camacho Harris.
Camacho.
Shout out to Andy Yaffe. He's the
He's the sales
Kentucky-
manager.
Yeah,
Sales manager
He's-
for McAuliffe.
he's awesome, dude. He's really nice. Switching
Yeah.
gears again, going back to McAllen.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a super nice dude. I met him in Kentucky when I lived in Louisville.
He is a nice guy.
They do great events.
Him and Dan Thompson usually
Dan
do them
Yep.
together. Yep.
Both great guys.
Yeah, I'm going to get those 3 cigars in here, especially now that they're combining. It's going to be a lot easier to work with one
Yeah.
person. So
That'll be nice.
I can't believe that dude stuck saran wrap
What a
on his
dipshit.
what
cigar.
the heck?
I wanted to keep him fresh.
Yeah.
I think it was purely experimental. So like I can't dog on him too much.
No,
but,
no, no.
I mean,
this is like it's
You're an idiot.
experimental
Oh, no, you can dog on it.
without actually having any basis.
right.
Or what are you going for? What are you doing? What's the
Yeah.
end goal here?
I don't know why he was trying to. I don't know what he was trying to
Also,
prove.
have you smelled saran wrap?
Oh, yeah, it's terrible. Yeah, I
Yeah.
would not want to like. I mean,
I
I
mean,
don't typically rub it on my food, but like,
yeah.
I don't want it touching what's going in my mouth. I don't just lick saran wrap all the time.
Why not?
Yeah, you got a problem with that?
I'm a
Yeah.
cellophane licker.
Oh, I got you.
Yeah,
And
gotcha.
windows. Love licking windows.
Yeah, yeah.
No, like the whole conversation started because somebody was giving him shit about unwrapping the cellophane to put in your humidor. And this guy is a hard no cellophane in his humidor. So like that's how the whole conversation started, was between if you unwrap or if you leave them that way.
Okay, this is a really, really good point. Do it the way you want to do it.
Yeah,
And if
who cares?
someone does it different, you shut the fuck up and let them do what they want to do.
Mind your business.
There is no
Valid.
there is no hard
Yeah.
rule to this.
Yeah.
If you want them unwrapped, unwrap them. Maybe you're a little bit easier in your humidor than some people and grabbing through and grabbing a cigar. I like cellophane in them because if
man.
I'm digging through, I don't want the wrappers rubbing and causing
Dude, I got a
damage.
drawer that just has cigars thrown in it.
Yeah.
And
If they weren't cellophane, you'd have half of them that weren't any smokable.
yeah,
So
straight up. Well,
do
I
whatever
have
you want.
I have some like OG Las Calaveras right now, and they're not in cellophane, and I just
Oh.
like trying so hard to
I've
baby
got
those.
A couple of mine's got big cracks in them right now too.
It's just like the older ones didn't come with cellophane on it, and that was cool when they came out. But now that they're sitting in my humidor in a drawer,
yeah.
like if somebody gave me cellophane that would fit those cigars, I'd put it on them.
Yeah.
I would.
You can buy cellophane cheap.
Yeah, I don't want to do it.
Okay.
I don't want to do that much.
Well, Home
work.
Depot sells just shrink wrap 'em, so you
Yeah.
just go
You got
shrink
saran wrap.
Yeah,
You
you
can
got.
do that.
Yeah,
You know
there
what?
you go.
I have
Fine.
dry aging bags. I'll go ahead and throw them in
There
those.
you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Might as well.
Might as well.
Put it
Might
in
as
there
well.
with a nice
Yeah.
ribeye.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got a nice new food saver.
Did you?
Yeah.
I have
that?
I have the Cabela's commercial one, which is awesome. Like, hey,
Benefits of working at Cabela's.
it
right?
was. Yeah. I mean, if you didn't know, Cabela's employees gets every Cabela branded product or any other brands for a 45% discount.
Nice.
Yeah. So
That's awesome.
Of course, you don't make anything working there, but you can buy their stuff.
Sell it on
Dude,
At
secondary.
cost. Yeah, you have to sell it on Facebook Marketplace to get your paycheck. That's how they get you.
Oh, I guarantee a lot of people probably do that too.
Yeah.
Christmas presents.
Yeah, they do. Everybody loved when I worked there because it was during early 2020 during the ammunition shortage. Well, when ammo came in, like they told us, you have first dibs on whatever you want.
Oh, so it's your fault.
No, it wasn't my fault. But I definitely took advantage of that because it was like, I want to go hunting on my off days and I need ammunition, or I just want to throw stuff down the range
Yep.
because there's nothing else to do right now.
We would go to Academy in
Yeah.
2020. They did. I mean, we'd limit it 2 boxes a day, but every morning, I mean, it's like standing in line for Amburano, except more popular. Sorry.
And tastes better.
And tastes better.
It tastes better. That's debatable. Just throwing some 9mm in your mouth. Gosh, that sounds suicidal saying it like that, but
Just saying. I
It's-
don't know if
ugh.
it's not an experiment I want to try, but definitely neither one of them sound very
You don't want to
good.
eat lead?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone
each
likes their
their
own
own.
thing, man. Like if
Yeah.
that's,
I know.
sometimes,
Whatever.
yeah. Sometimes you just have to.
So how's that cigar once you get into the final third now?
Oh, I'm not all the way into the
Not in
final
the third
third
yet?
yet.
Oh, I thought you
I'm
were
getting there.
I thought
to
you
it.
guys were.
What did you have? You had something else to talk about today, didn't
Well,
you?
and I mean, it's weird, but we just hit actually a really good thing in legislation this week. The FDA got basically chastised again, and now, and I'll read this because I can't remember exactly what it is. Basically, it says today's news should mean the end of warning labels, pre-market review of cigars, and other limitations that have been impeding the ability for cigar makers to work freely. So basically, the FDA has been charging like fees for people to run their blends through the FDA and all this shit they've been trying to do, including trying to put these massive, and they do this in Canada and Europe and every
Yeah, they
place else,
do.
where they literally the entire box is covered with warning labels, to the point where some of these brands that have these beautiful boxes are now starting to double box their cigars,
Yeah.
so that the labels are on the outside box, so when the customer gets it, they take the label box off. But basically the boxes just say that you're going to die from smoking this, basically. I mean, it's just that kind
well,
of crap.
and a lot of them show pictures of people that look
Lung
like they're
cancer.
cracked
Oh,
out. Like,
yeah.
I have seen people die from smoking cigarettes. They do
Yeah.
not look like that. They're just smoker skinny and probably yellow.
Yep.
It's the same marketing team that
So
Starlight
the good thing
uses.
about this is they've actually they've been knocked back on this now, and the FDA has lost another one. And from what it sounds like, this judge has finally just said, stop fighting this because it's a different animal than cigarettes and vape.
Good.
So
Somebody should buy that judge a pack, a full box.
Oh, I
of
guarantee-
Padron 1926.
I guarantee he got all the cigars in the world he'll ever want for the rest of his life.
Good for them.
Just don't give him a cigar batch because then he's gonna get pissed.
Yeah, that's true because they're not right. But
Whatever.
yeah, so that was exciting this week. I was glad to see that. Something kind of cool actually. When this drops on Monday, that day we have the Glenn Loop from the PCA. He's the president of PCA. He's going to be here coming into the lounge. We're doing a meeting for all shop owners and stuff like that here.
Cool. Oh, nice.
Just for people to come together and talk about legislation coming up and what our next steps are. So that was kind of cool that they wanted to come to our place and do it here. So today we're closed, so it worked out pretty well.
Yeah.
But we're going to have them in here. And
Private dinner?
We're not having dinner.
Ribeyes?
No food. No. I'm gonna bring out some bottles for them to try, and hopefully they bring their own cigars. Otherwise, I'm gonna sell them to them. I don't know. We'll see. I'll see what we can do. But that was kind of cool that they wanted to come together, and I think there's some kind of a reception going on after that later on in the night. But
Cool.
but yeah, just talking about Indiana legislation, so it's kind of cool.
No, that's
'Cause
great.
everyone's fighting something. That's for sure.
Everybody is fighting something.
That's good.
What did we? I think it was Dr. Johnson was trying to buy something online and saw a big.
I was just thinking about that. He was
tax
pipe
hike.
tobacco.
Pipe tobacco.
Yeah.
Because what you're going to start seeing, at least I think you're going to start seeing. I haven't even seen the laws yet, but they're starting to charge taxes shipping across state lines, which honestly they should have been doing a long time ago.
Yeah.
This is the fight that Amazon's been having for years.
Uh-huh.
Everyone's been having. Because if you buy from someone, say in Pennsylvania or New Hampshire or Florida, there's no taxes on tobacco coming across our lines. That's cigars and pipe tobacco. Well, they've started charging some of those taxes now, and I know some people are going to be pissed about it, but it's like this is not a bad thing for brick and mortar because now we're going to be able to compete with those people online. You can come into our place and buy them here, and we can still sell you product. And I think, and I get it. I get why people do it. Everyone does it, but it's one of those things where if you're spending that much money online, why not just come down to your local brick and mortar, keep a small business in business, and be able to get them for about the same price.
Well, I mean, it is good for the brick and mortars, and I think eventually you'll see some of the big warehouses like CI, like Thompson, like Atlantic, start to die off in popularity just because. Well, their prices aren't as good as they once were because, I'm having to pay my state tax in Indiana, in California.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if this has actually been fully pushed through yet. The other thing you have going with some of those warehouses like that, especially those you named, they get a lot of seconds. So they'll get ones that, Rocky gets boxes and the box isn't quite right, or the color coding or the coloring of the tobacco in that box isn't right, or something's wrong with it. He'll send skids of them to them and they'll sell them. Do they smoke fine? Sure, as long as they're humidified properly,
which they aren't.
Which they're not always. But they're not ones that he wants to put on in a brick and mortar to spotlight his brand. Yeah, and that's the way anyone does. So that's why you see a lot of those out there. Is they're not ones that they're willing to sell specific, and that's why you'll see like the Cornelius and Anthony that you loved. Those come in a beautiful box and all this stuff else. Well, they were selling them in bundles lately. And it's mainly because they probably got all these bundles that were just ones they didn't want to put in a box. Mm-hmm. And that's what they were selling because, and you'll be able, and that's the thing, you'll find some through CI or Thompson's or whatever that are bundle packs that brand doesn't make that bundle pack. But so you're getting them for a reason that way.
It might be good to go that way, though. I mean, it may force these brands to focus more on brick and mortars, too.
Yes.
Rather, you're not losing business. You're just shifting your focus. So, if you can put more focus in your brick and mortars, then that's... I mean, it's the same thing with buying, just like talking about Starlight, the price going up in the stores. It's the same thing with buying a bottle in the gift shop than going to the liquor store. Because they, it's cool to go there. You can get it. But they're pushing it out. I think it'll help logistically with a lot of things, too. With some of the warehouses like shipping their items.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it'll work itself out.
Yeah.
Unless you're just one of those guys that doesn't want to leave the house, then
Right.
you're going to be screwed.
Well, and for a while, back to this, talking about Starlight. Starlight was the only place you could get a lot of these finishes. Now they've pushed out enough to where, well, when you go to Starlight and you buy that finish, you almost feel like it's the Kentucky distillery tax on there. I don't think it's a legitimate tax. You're just paying more for that bottle at the distillery because you're at the distillery than you would at the liquor store across the street.
Yeah.
But again, it does help brick and mortars that their prices are higher.
Yeah.
When I was in Evanston, Illinois, Benny's had a shelf full of finishes that Starlight people rave about. And they were all severely underpriced what they would be in the gift shop. They just were.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong, but that may help with pricing itself in general with some sticks too, because if you're not focused as much on your e-commerce sites and you're shipping everything to brick and mortars, then one, you may have more in-person events. Two, it could lower the prices a little bit because you're not having to pay as much taxes on it.
That's something I've been thinking a lot about this week too, because after the FDA announcement, that is going to eliminate a lot of costs. They said there was, what was like $120 million or something like that that's going to be saved to the industry because of those stupid fees that the FDA was charging them. My big concern or question now is, are they going to pass it on to the consumer, or are they just going to go ahead and continue to pocket themselves?
Right.
Which they might need to catch back up. But
There
everything this year's
are
gone up so much.
some boutiques that haven't really pushed into the new pricing regimen, and I'm not sure that they will. But I don't think you'll see big brands like Drew Estate, any of the Swisher brands, any of the Swedish brands, like passing it on to the customer.
No.
They don't need to.
No. And they're also trying to catch up because during, the 3 or 4 years before COVID and COVID, no one was increasing their prices, even though obviously prices went up, especially during that time, all the regulations going on.
Yeah.
So they slowly increased that because of that. But they're going to have to level it off at some point because we're coming out of that massive boom where I think we're going to plateau and level off a little bit more, which is not a bad thing. But it's just one of those things where, there is extra money to be made now. Are they going to pass that on, or is that just going to be something where they can, and maybe they're going to use it to hire people to actually go sell their products? I mean, that's one of my biggest issues I have with 1502 is I love their brand. They don't have reps, and they're not very many places because they don't have someone out there selling their product. And I've had a couple of brokers say, "Oh yeah, we represent 1502 too." I'm like, "Well, you didn't lead with that when you came in the building. You just said it later on after you saw we had them on the shelf." I'm like, "That's not really selling for them." So
it would take an offset though, because I mean, if you add more reps, then you're probably going to take away somebody's territory.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to split, which is going to reduce their commissions and.
But back
so then
full circle back to the whole thing with McAuliffe and All Saints.
Yeah.
Again, you could
now
add
you're
another
combining
brand.
forces and
exactly.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good to have competitors.
Which I could see like 1502 teaming up with a brand like Rojas. Like they seem to be very similar output brands and very I don't know, similar brands as far as function. But if they were to team together and get a sales force, they could take over every humidor. They make amazing cigars.
Yeah. Yep.
Like the breakfast tacos are amazing short smokes. That Maduro is killer.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
I wonder if this will give the opportunity for new brands too coming in.
Hopefully.
Like maybe it'll be a little more lax to where new brands can come to the market easier than what it would have been 2 years ago.
Yeah, and honestly, the last 2 years it's been really hard, mainly because the bigger brands that were making cigars for them couldn't keep up with their own stuff, so they're not going to make it for somebody else.
Sure. Yeah.
Now that that's starting to slow down a little bit on just the massive amount going out to shops, I think they'll be able to get back to making some more cigars. AJ will be back in the mix, doing a lot. I mean, Aladino's already been supplying cigars to other people and tobacco. So you're going to have more and more of that going forward, I think.
So with that, like some of the brands that require you to buy bulk to get certain items, I wonder if that would change some of that too. Like I wonder if it would allow them, well, I know it's probably just their standard, but I wonder if they would change the way that they operate with what you keep.
They won't.
No. It's all about their brand.
Well, and a lot of that's
really
a status thing. But I'm in the final third,
Yeah.
the final third of the cigar, finalthirdcigar.com. But right now for me, it's like a chocolate graham cracker. Has
cool.
Some of that bready quality, some cinnamon, some chocolate in there. I actually feel like the spice on the retrohales died down.
Okay.
It hasn't intensified.
I think
for
the
me.
black pepper kind of mellowed out a little bit, and I get more like cinnamon red hot almost.
I could see that.
Yeah, I get a little bit more cinnamon. It's more pronounced towards the final third. So
Yeah, it's a really floral cinnamon on the
We had somebody
retrohale.
call into the shop, which if you are watching this, please let us know because I don't think I've got your number anymore. But he had called in the shop and said he was listening to our podcast and he wants to buy the cigar that was, what was the flavor notes on it? Cinnamon graham cracker or something like that. And I'm like, that could be a note in a lot of different cigars.
Right.
So if that is you, please at least let us know what cigar that was or what podcast and call back in or comment on one of our posts or something.
Totally.
Because if you're looking for some of those and you don't live around here, we can get them to you. But it's kind of funny how people pick up on certain notes, and we love that. We want to try it. So that's the reason why we say these notes is because, if you're a cinnamon guy or if you hate cinnamon and that cigar has it or doesn't, that'll may make you want to buy it or not buy it.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way it is. So.
and that's why it's important to identify the different flavors throughout.
Yeah.
You're gonna get something different through the whole thing.
And that's the thing. Flavors are very subjective too, because if you're not a cinnamon person, you may not be getting cinnamon. You may get some kind of a wood or something in it as opposed to cinnamon. So I don't know. It's all fun. It's all subjective anyway.
Yeah.
So
I think we can wrap this one up.
wrap it up.
So
One thing I do want to say, we do have these new lighters in. If you guys are interested in getting some new lighters,
they are Zippo style.
Yeah, Zippo style with the butane insert, dual jet, and they're only $12. So they're actually a really great price too.
It's a great pocket lighter. That's a great car lighter. That's great dressing up. And I would like to carry a lighter, but I'm looking for something lighter.
And a fidget, fidget tool too. So
it is a
you got your
great fidget tool.
You can't light your palm on fire with that one.
Yeah,
you
so
can't.
he's got them in black, blue, and red.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And like I said, we've only gotten them for about a week now, so I don't know how long they're going to last. But I think that they so far I've been using mine for 4 or 5 days now, and it's been working great. So hopefully the quality on them is good.
And 4 or 5 days for Rob
it was probably like 15, 20 cigars.
more than that.
Maybe.
It's a lot. You'll get your
a lot.
money's worth out of
I
it,
think
I'm
so.
sure.
I think so.
But you can find me on Instagram at the Whiskey Pastor. Where can they find you?
Both are visuals.
All right, and you can find us Final Third Cigar. Check out the podcast, and everyone's been engaging. A lot of people have been engaging through the YouTube channel lately too, which has been kind of fun too. So thanks a lot for listening, and we will see you next week, and I'll smoke a cigar next week too.
Yeah, you will.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.